Good morning. To echo a lot of what you've heard, I would be remiss if I didn't start off by thanking TIDC and Jim for his leadership, our Commissioners Court, our courts, our Chief Public Defender Jaime Gandara for his leadership. Communication has been essential for the way our system works in El Paso. I want to focus a lot about how our public defender's office works, but part of it goes beyond just communication with working through the issues. When we have something come up, we go meet with Judge Trejo, we discuss with the Council of Judges, we approach our Commissioners Court, and it really goes back to Y2K. We originally had, years ago when I joined the office, an INSLAW database that had very little information in it that was shared. Every department had their own spreadsheets, their own databases. We went to the precursor of Odyssey, which was an integrated database. Information started flowing to us from the jails, from the DA's office. It's continued through Odyssey, and it has been invaluable on just about every step of what we've been able to accomplish in our office. First and foremost, it has drastically reduced data entry. We have a staff of 75 currently, thanks to TIDC helping us establish a mental health unit. It'll be 86 in October. Of that, far less than half, in fact, less than a quarter, are the support staff who take care of everything that has to happen so the attorneys can be in court fighting for their clients, the investigators can be in the field talking to witnesses, getting the video from crime scenes, serving subpoenas, doing everything else that has to happen. The social workers can be at the jails, meeting with our clients, helping get them linked with services. The staff deal with everything on creating the files, getting all the motions out. And one of the issues that I can remember having when we joined the office, which has been virtually eliminated, is just data entry errors. We get correct information that comes over from original bookings at the jail, client information comes over. Instead of taking days for a file to be opened and just everything to go into the system, our investigators are able to go out to the jail usually within a matter of 2 or 3 working hours of when we receive the appointment. The attorneys follow up with that either that afternoon or the next day. So it gets us there to work with our clients extremely quickly. The other part of that integrated system is the amount of data and information it gives us on our cases and our clients. Following up on Commissioner Pettis' comments, we started to see a radical increase in our caseload following TIDC's audit. Our felony case appointment rate in a period of about 3 months increased by almost 35%. Our misdemeanor cases increased by nearly 60%. And one of the focuses our offices had, again, thanks to TIDC's leadership, is being sure that our attorneys have manageable caseloads, that we are not a plea mill. We do what we need to do to work up our clients' cases, to be sure that we advocate for their release on bond, we advocate for them in the courtroom, and get the result that is whatever is the best for that client, which we can achieve. And to do that, the attorneys have to have time to meet with their clients. They've got to have time to work up the cases, to review the discovery on portal, and do everything else that has to happen. When we saw that caseload increase, because of the focus we have on keeping track of our information, keeping track of our attorney caseloads, we had the information we needed to start with Commissioner's Court, with our county administrator's office, and ultimately to approach TIDC to get a grant that expanded our office significantly. It added about 25% more attorneys so that we could maintain our caseload levels. Similarly, that same focus on data has led us to look more at our mental health cases. We've grown from an office that 25 years ago did not have any social workers to an office that today has a dedicated social work unit. Right now we have 4 social workers. We'll soon have 6, including a chief social worker, to head up that unit to focus even more on the needs of our clients with mental illness. And as we've been able to look through the data and the information we've gathered, we realized that our clients with mental health needed more attention. We wanted to be sure we're focusing on what can we do to maximize the resources for them, to be sure that people with mental health challenges who shouldn't be in the criminal justice system to start with are first released from jail as quickly as possible through aggressive advocacy for bond reductions, that we get them linked with services in the community, and that doesn't just mean mental health services for treatment, but also assistance for their families, helping the clients, if they qualify, to apply for Social Security disability so that they get stability for housing, taking some of the factors that led to the revolving door out of the picture, and ultimately advocating for them in the courtroom and presenting either defenses where they lie or mitigation to help judges, juries, and prosecutors understand the challenges of someone with severe mental illness. And we're going to have a dedicated unit which will focus on that, headed up by one of our division chiefs starting in October because of TIDC's support and their understanding of the challenges of the huge unfunded mandate on local communities for indigent defense. With their grant as a stair step, it helps El Paso County's taxpayers to move into dealing with the issues and the challenges of funding it while we immediately meet the needs of our clients. As I said, I wanted to talk briefly about the quality focus in our office. Our office was another direct result from the 1986 lawsuit Judge Trejo talked about. We have gone from handling felony cases only to handling all levels of felony cases, including capital murder death cases. We currently have 8 non-death capital cases pending. We handle all levels of misdemeanors where jail is a possibility, including failure to pay child support. We represent parents in child protective service cases, and we handle all levels of juvenile matters. And one of the focuses is that we give our attorneys the independence to work with their clients and find the strategy, the approaches which are best suited to meet those clients' needs. We're a client-centered office, which means while I as an attorney might look at a case and say, you know what, an acquittal's the best thing we can get, we need to meet with our client and understand what that client's needs are. And for that client, it may be a different resolution because they may not have the time to wait to go to trial on it. At the same time, our line attorneys are working up their cases and are holding the state to their burden. In the last fiscal year, we saw approximately 30% of the felony cases we handled to disposition dismissed. We saw approximately 40% of the misdemeanors dismissed. Our line attorneys are supported by their trial chiefs who, number one, handle a reduced caseload, so they have time to supervise, to mentor, to be sounding boards. But at the same time, they're also in the courtrooms. They know the same challenges that the attorneys they supervise are facing because they're facing it as well. They're working with those same issues, the same clients. In fact, all of our attorneys, including the chief and I, handle some cases to stay in touch with those challenges. In addition, each of our felony trial teams, or actually all of our trial teams, we meet weekly to go over upcoming trials, to brainstorm them, to see what issues are out there, what challenges may need more insight, how we can be sure that we are using all of our resources. And that has led to great returns for our clients. Part of those dismissal rates and our trial rates are direct results of the fact we have the staff investigators and social workers. Our felony cases have an investigator working in at least 71% of the cases. We have investigators on 53% of our misdemeanors. Similarly, on social work cases, we have them working on as many cases as they can. And felonies are in the mid 20%. It's the high teens for misdemeanor cases. So the social workers are there looking at every aspect possible to assist in the preparation and parts of a case that are not necessarily strictly legal, but are no less important. Similarly, with our investigators out working cases, we know where the witnesses are going to be there. We know what's going to come out at trial, and the attorneys have the tools they need to advocate for the best possible outcomes for their clients. Just like you heard with the Max in Lubbock, none of our attorneys go to trial alone. There is always an attorney second chair. In fact, one thing we do on serious cases is we have some of our least experienced attorneys sit third chair so that they get a chance to get exposed to the facts in a learning capacity before they're actually there as the first or second chair. They're familiar with them, they know the challenges, they know the unique issues you get when you're trying a high-profile case, and they're ready to deal with those issues when they get there to handle those. Similarly, our attorneys who have less trial experience may have a much more experienced trial attorney as their second chair, so that those attorneys can, instead of being relegated to a second chair position, they're able to move forward as quickly as they can, consistent with giving our clients effective assistance, and take additional leadership roles on the case. However, the client's rights are fully protected, and we make sure that the client gets the best result possible. We've divided up our office where we have a dedicated team who handles cases until the filing actually happens, so that we do everything possible on bond advocacy to get security footage if there may be some, which all too often is gone by the time cases are filed. And then once cases are filed, clients have vertical representation. The same lawyer handles all of their cases. So if an individual has both felonies and misdemeanors, that felony lawyer will handle both the felony cases and then go to the county courts to handle the misdemeanors, so that we handle as much as we can of the issues to get a unified ultimate resolution to the case. And we also make sure that what happens on one case in one court is not detrimental to the other case in another court. We have, in addition to the mental health unit that's starting in October, a capital murder unit, which handles not only capital cases, but any case involving a death. And so our focus is to look at every option we can for our clients to be sure that they get quality representation. Above the trial chiefs, we have 3 division chiefs who meet with those chiefs, review their work, and also see how we can up our game. What can we do to raise our challenges? And we work as a team, just like you've heard about the county working as a team. Within our office, our strategic planning utilizes every person in the office, from our clerks up through the chief and I. And we get feedback from everyone to set the goals on how can we up our game to do better for our clients next year. What are the new challenges? How can we move forward? And it has done a lot to add to the camaraderie in the office as a team building function, and to share insights. It's been very interesting to see the insights from support staff that often prompt attorneys to go, I didn't think about that, but I can see how that's being perceived by clients. One of the things we adopted in our vision is to not talk about indigent representation, but to focus on justice for all through client-centered representation. Because ultimately, once we are appointed to represent a client, their resources aren't an issue. They're our client. Our charge is to be sure they receive quality representation. And another aspect of that is, for all of our cases, we have our own expert fund. The attorneys come see us, the chief or myself, we review what they need to do with the experts, and we handle those internally, which provides us the independence to do what we need to do preparing a case and keep our trial strategy within the defense team as much as possible. And again, it's a teamwork, both inside of our office and throughout the whole county.